నేను మాత్రం మా ఇద్దరు పిల్లల్ని క్వాలిటీ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ అందించే ఉల్లంపర్రు మాంటిసోరీ స్కూల్లో మాత్రమే చదివిస్తాను. ఇలా అన్నీ ఉన్న చోట మన పిల్లల్ని చదివిస్తేనే వాళ్ళకి మంచి భవిష్యత్తు ఉంటుంది.
నాకు అన్ని నెంబర్ 1 కావాలి. అందుకే నా పెద్ద మనవరాల్ని అన్ని వసతులతో క్వాలిటీ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ అందిస్తున్న స్కూల్లోనే జాయిన్ చేశాను.
ఏ స్కూల్ సార్ అది?
ఉల్లంపర్రు మాంటిసరీ స్కూల్. క్వాలిటీ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ లో నెంబర్ 1, కల్చరల్ యాక్టివిటీస్ లో నెంబర్ 1, స్పోర్ట్స్ లో నెంబర్ 1, క్యాంపస్ లో నెంబర్ 1.
అది
మీ పిల్లల బంగారు భవిష్యత్తుకు మాది బాధ్యత.
Good morning, children. This is Swapna Priya, working as teacher of Montessori'S English Medium School. Today, I came here in front of you to speak science topic, that is rain. Where does it come from? So before going to the topic, I just want to say one story for you. There are two girls and their names are Ramya and Sonia. So these two girls, they are going to the school. So her mother advised them to take an umbrella with them. So what she said? To take an umbrella with them. So Ramya asked her mother, "Mom, it was not raining. So why need of taking an umbrella, mother?" she asked. Then mother, she looked up at the sky and she said that it is cloudy and windy. It is going to be rain. So you take an umbrella with you, she said. Then they started to go to school and they wondered why her mother, how she said that it was going to be rain. So they thought and they went to the school. So where do we get rains? And what is the purpose of getting rains? And how her mother know that it is going to be rain? So to get this answer, we have to know about the rain. So rain, it is a natural phenomenon. It is natural phenomenon like air and sunlight. So we generally observe rain in rainy seasons. So the general observation is that if we see a cloud, whether it is a cloudy and windy, then we can say that it is going to be rain. So here, now we are going to learn this topic in our chapter, rain, where does it comes from? Okay, so this is our topic is rain, where does it come from? So this is our lesson. Today's lesson is rain, where does it comes from? So to know about this topic, to understand this topic, we have to know that why do clouds cause rain and where do we get rain and what is the relation between the cloud and rain. So to understand this topic, first of all we have to know about the water. Do you know, already you have learned in the previous classes, there are 3 forms of water. Do you know that? That is solids, liquids and gases. What are that? Solids, liquids and gases. Now I am going to show you the 3 forms of water. What are the 3 forms of water? They are solids, liquids and gases. So these are the 3 forms of water. Now let us learn about these 3 forms of water in our lesson now. So what are the 3 different forms of water, children? They are, first one is ice. So this is a solid part of water and this is water. It is a liquid form and this is water vapor. So here you can observe the vapors coming out from your bowl. So these are the 3 different forms of water. So what are the 3 different forms of water? They are solids, liquids and gases. What is a solid form of water? It is nothing but ice. Where do we see ice? We can see ice naturally in snow, as a snow. We can observe in Himalayas. So in some hilly stations we can observe a snow. So it is a form of ice. And also we can make an ice also by using refrigerators. If you keep water in an ice trays and if you leave it for 1 hour, you can see the solid form of water. That is nothing but ice. And if you take an ice and you keep it in an open air, and what do you observe? That it will convert into water. So what is that water? The water, it is nothing but a liquid form. A liquid form is nothing but a water. We can observe water in so many areas like oceans, rivers, lakes, ponds, etc. So these are the water we can see. Now I am going to show you the liquid form of water in the chart. So you can observe this, it is a coast. So this is a liquid form. So we can observe this liquid form not only in the coastal areas, we can observe oceans, rivers, lakes, ponds, underground water. So the water will be in the liquid form in these areas. Now we have learned the solid form of water, that is ice, and liquid form, that is water. Now let us learn about the gaseous form. Do you know when water is heated, what will happen? It changes into water vapor. So what will happen? It changes into water vapor. Where did this water vapor go? It mixes with the air. So this water vapor mixes with the air which is present surrounding on the earth. Now take a bowl. Just you take water and now you heat that water. So what will happen? It will change us into water vapor. Suppose, and I have already said, if you heat the ice, it changes into water. If you heat the water, it changes into water vapor. Similarly, in the same way, if you cool the water vapor, it changes into water. And if you again cool the water, it changes into ice. So what you have observed, children? So when we are heating, the same process. Ice changes to water, water changes to water vapor. In the similar way, by cooling, water vapor changes into water and water changes into ice. So here, by this we can say that three forms are interchangeable. We can say, now I am going to show you the chart, the interchangeable process. See children, here we have taken the ice. So when we heat it changes to water. So this is a water. So when it is heated and again it changes to water vapor. So this is a water vapor coming from out of the ball when it is heated. Again, if water vapor is cooled, it changes to water. And again, if water is cooled, it changes to ice. So this process is interchangeable. Okay children? Now I am going to ask you one thing. Your mom washed your clothes and you wanted to go to the school tomorrow. So your mom want to dry your clothes. So what she will do? Either she will keep near the sunlight or she will dry it near the fan. These are the two reasons we can say. So what will happen? The water which is present in the wet clothes. So where do this water goes? Now let us learn. Suppose you take one bowl, you heat that water, take a water in the bowl, you heat that water by using the stove, and what will come when you heat it? It started boiling, the water vapor comes out of the bowl. So what we are doing here, the water vapor is mixing with the air. So that means the water vapor which comes out of the bowl will mixes in the air. In the similar way, here the water which is present in the wet clothes also get mixed up in the air. So this is a process. Here the process of changing the water into water vapor is called evaporation. So what is that called? Evaporation. See children, here what is evaporation? The process of water changing into water vapor is called evaporation. So if water is gently heated, it will become warm. And if you further heat, what will happen? Some vapors are producing. And again if you heat it more, it will produce more vapors. So here if you heat more and more water, the vapor is producing more. By this you can say that the wet clothes can dry as easily as if the heat is produced. The amount of water depends upon the heat, that is nothing but the evaporation. So evaporation, it is a natural process which takes place here in the oceans, rivers, lakes will be dried up. That means due to the sunlight, this water changes into water vapor due to the process called evaporation. So this is a process where do we observe in the daily life. Now next I'm going to say you one thing that you observe in the windy, that means winter season, you observe that suppose the smoke which comes from your mouth, what is that? It is like a vapor. So that smoke will be like a vapor which comes from your mouth. So in the winter season only. Why don't you observe in the summer season? So do you have a doubt? But now I am going to say you. So here the water, that means the vapor which is coming, the air which is coming from our mouth is hotter when compared to the air which is present outside. So usually in winter the air becomes cool. So when compared to the air which is coming out from our mouth is hotter when compared to the air which is present outside the atmosphere. So that's why here the water, that means the air which is present in the atmosphere will get cool. The vapor which is comes out from our mouth. Here it changes into some tiny droplets. So it will remains like some constant smoke. So that's why we observe the smoke like vapor which comes out from our mouth. So not only this example, you can observe some droplets will form on the grass also in winter season, some small droplets. So this is also the same reason. And not only the dew or grass, we can also observe in the water bottles also. So if you keep the water bottles from the fridge to the outside, you can observe some water droplets will present around the water bottle. So this is also the same reason. And not only the same, one more thing you can do in activity in your home also. Take one glass, you keep some ice cubes in the glass, and after some time what you observe? You observe some water droplets will form around the glass. So why do this water droplets will form around the glass? We know that this is also same reason. Here the water vapor which is present in the air, actually the water glass is very cool when compared to the air which is present in the outside. So when we keep this glass outside, what will happen? Here the water vapor which is present in the air will be cooled when touches the glass surface. So it becomes a small tiny droplets of water. So these are the example for water vapor which changes to water. So what you have observed, the process of changing the water vapor into water is nothing but condensation. Okay children? The process of conversion of water vapor into water is nothing but condensation. So now I am going to explain about the clouds and rain. So how the clouds and rains are formed. So in the summer season you can observe that the water gets heated up. So you can observe the water in oceans, rivers, lakes, seas, etc. So what will happen here in the summer season? This water get dried up. So excess amount of heat given by the sunlight will dry up. That means it changes into water vapor. So here the water which is present in the oceans, rivers, lakes will be dried up by using the amount of sunlight. So by the sun. So all water get dried up and it forms a water cycle. So what is a water cycle? Do you know that? Here already I said that the water which is present in the oceans, rivers, lakes, streams, so it gets dried up and it changes to water vapor. So here the water vapor, it goes to the higher surfaces. So on the higher surface of atmosphere, you can find that it will be cool, it will be very cool, and this it changes into water vapor will go upside and it changes to as a clouds. So how the clouds are formed? So water vapor which changes from water to water vapor will reaches the higher surfaces and it forms a tiny droplets. It forms a tiny droplets in the air and it flows in the upper surface of the air. So when we go high, what will happen is we will float on the air. That means here the density will be low. So if we go higher and higher, the density is low so that we can float. Like that, the air particles, that means small tiny droplets, so which are formed by using the water vapor, is floats in the air. So and it forms like a clouds. So you can see that some clouds, when it is going to be rain, the clouds will look like a dark in color. So excess amount of cold, if it is more cold, this clouds will become dark. That means it will happen to be latent with the water vapor and it will form more and more clouds. So like that, the clouds are formed at upper surface of the air. If you go high, you can find the clouds in the atmosphere. Suppose, and you can in the if you rise up, the atmosphere will becomes a cool. So there you can find a cool air. So if that cool air touches the clouds, then what will happen? That water vapor will changes into water droplets and it will form as a rain. And here the rain which is formed due to the changes of water vapor into water, some like it will form like a crystals as a snow. Some tiny droplets, that means if it is more cool, this tiny droplets of water will become crystals and it will form, that means it will fall like a snow for us. And also suppose more cooler, that means if it is more and more cooler, that air, then this water vapor will becomes like a solid crystals of ice, and you can form these solid crystals which comes from the clouds will form like a hailstones. So we can say that hailstones. So you can observe the ice coming from the clouds, small crystals you can observe in some areas. So why? Because there the density is so low and the air will be so cool in that areas. That means the cool, suppose if you are getting to be rain, that means if you are getting to be rain, what we can observe is the cool and breeze air will form, and then we can see the cool and breeze air. That means in that area the rains will come more and more. So in our states we can observe the rains occurring in rainy seasons and mostly in from, that means here the winds flows from western side. The winds flows from western side. So we can say that these winds as southwest monsoons. Southwest monsoons. But sometimes we can observe not only in rainy season but also we can observe in November and December months also. So generally the rainy season will come June to September. So here the cloud, that means the winds which flows from western side. So they are called southwest monsoons. But sometimes the rains will come in November and December. So here the winds blows from eastern side, and these winds can be called as northeast monsoons. So we can call as northeast monsoons. So we can observe this type of rains. And sometimes, do you know what is a water cycle? Water cycle is nothing but the conversion of here the water which is present in the oceans, rivers, lakes. So these are streams. So when water comes, it will form like a small streams, and small stream will changes to big streams, and this big streams will go to the river, and it will, from the river it goes to the seas, oceans, like that. So here the water is flowing from one place to another place. What will happen here is that whatever water which is present in the oceans, rivers, lakes in the summer season, it gets dried up. So by using the heat, so whatever the heat which is coming from the sun, it gets dried up. So the water dried up and it changes to water vapor. So this water vapor will go upper side and it will form like a clouds. And what will happen here? The clouds will form to rain, and rain again it will come to as an ocean. So like this the water cycle, the cycling process is going between this clouds. Here the water changes to water vapor changes to clouds, and cloud changes to rain, and from the rain also we can find this water. So like this the cycling process is going. So that's why we can say that it is a water cycle. Now I am going to show you the picture of water cycle for you. See children, this is a water cycle. So here you are observing the water. So from the lands the water will fall into some streams like rivers, oceans. So these are the water surfaces. From these water surfaces that means the water changes to water vapor by using the sunlight. So it changes to water vapor, and this water vapor will changes into clouds. So when the coolant air, that means it condenses to form the cloud water. So here from the clouds it changes to water. So this water again it falls into the rivers, seas, like that. So here the circulation of water into water vapor to clouds and clouds to rain by condensation is nothing but the water cycle. So already I have said the condensation. What is condensation is nothing but, here I said already, the water vapor changes to water. So in the clouds, that is nothing but the process of conversion of water vapor into water is nothing but condensation. So we can observe this condensation near the clouds, because in the clouds if the cool air touches the clouds it will changes to water. So the process of changing the water vapor into water, so here a cloud changes to rain, so that process is nothing but a condensation. Now I have said about the water vapor which is present in the atmosphere. So by taking the example clouds, rain, this all. Now you can observe in your kitchen also. So I am going to say you the clouds in the kitchen. You take one bowl and you heat gently with the stove. So by using the stove you heat that water. So what will happen? You can observe the vapors which is coming from the water. So what you keep one plate on that bowl. So what will happen? So after some time, after getting it started boiling, you take that plate and you pour some water on that plate. So what will happen? You can observe some smoke. It is spreading from one place to another place. So by this what you have observed that here the water changes to water vapor. That water vapor, that whatever you have observed on the plate, it will just move from one place to another place. And now by this example you can say that here the water vapor will not stay at some place. It will changes from one place to another place. In similar way we can also observe that here the water vapor, that means the clouds which are formed by using this water, oceans, rivers, lakes. So whatever the water vapor we get from this water surfaces, the water vapor forms like a clouds. These clouds does not stay at one place. So it will travel from one place to another place. So already I have given the example for you. So like that only the clouds will transfer from one place to another place. Whenever the cool and breeze air touches that clouds, then the rain will come from the clouds. So these are the examples. You can now, I thought that you have understand how the clouds are formed and how the rains will come from the clouds. So here nowadays we are not getting rains properly. Do you know the reason? Because of the deforestation. So what is deforestation? That means we are cutting down of trees. We are not, what we have to do is we have to plant more trees to get the cool air, and we are getting polluted. So our environment is getting polluted because of this pollution. So whatever the smoke which is releasing from vehicles like factories and we are polluting our earth. So by our needs. So what we have to do is we have to control the deforestation and the pollution which is coming from the vehicles and some surfaces, so that we can get a cool air. That means if we plant more trees we can get more cool air. So if the cool air touches the clouds we can get more rains. So this is the process. So that's why we have to plant more trees to get more rains. So thank you children. I hope you understood this topic. So by this what you have understood is stop polluting the air and plant more trees. Thank you children.
నేను మాత్రం మా ఇద్దరు పిల్లల్ని క్వాలిటీ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ అందించే ఉల్లంపర్రు మాంటిసోరీ స్కూల్లో మాత్రమే చదివిస్తాను. ఇలా అన్నీ ఉన్న చోట మన పిల్లల్ని చదివిస్తేనే వాళ్ళకి మంచి భవిష్యత్తు ఉంటుంది.
నాకు అన్ని నెంబర్ 1 కావాలి. అందుకే నా పెద్ద మనవరాల్ని అన్ని వసతులతో క్వాలిటీ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ అందిస్తున్న స్కూల్లోనే జాయిన్ చేశాను.
ఏ స్కూల్ సార్ అది?
ఉల్లంపర్రు మాంటిసరీ స్కూల్. క్వాలిటీ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ లో నెంబర్ 1, కల్చరల్ యాక్టివిటీస్ లో నెంబర్ 1, స్పోర్ట్స్ లో నెంబర్ 1, క్యాంపస్ లో నెంబర్ 1.
అది
మీ పిల్లల బంగారు భవిష్యత్తుకు మాది బాధ్యత.